Hi VC, it's been a very long time since I've made a video, and it's the beginning of the new year. Um, I thought I would just run back through the top 10 vinyl finds that I had this year. Um, Good year, I guess. I didn't really get to go anywhere to buy records interesting, so this was all either stuff that I picked up online or that I found locally, which still had interesting results. And this first one, I didn't even get this until 2019 already started, but the reason why I'm putting it on here is this is by AMP. This is Astral Moonbeam Projections. And I've been listening to this album all year and just didn't really think to look into how it was pressed physically. And this is on Cranky. I didn't even know until I looked on Discogs. This is on Cranky. You can get this album for so cheap. This was like $8. And so I don't think it came in the mail until like the first week of 2019. But I spent so much of 2018 loving this that I really wanted to put it here. It's very droney, psych stuff. It's kind of, and I hope not to step on any toes, but this is kind of what I thought Flying Saucer Attack was going to be. And this is infinitely more interesting and enjoyable than Flying Saucer Attack. So that's number 10, AMP Astral Moonbeam Projections. Next up, this is one that I just kind of popped on Discogs because I had seen other people talk about an anthology of this band and how influential they were. This is Fred Wesley and the JBs, Damn Right I'm Somebody. And I don't think this is very rare, but I always see it going for $30 and $40. And looked on Discogs, got it for $15, I think. Yeah, $15. It listed it as in VG condition. This looks pretty VG plus to me. Looks great. Sleeves in great condition. And this is really, this is that make it funky kind of James Brown stuff. Very, longer jammy songs, a bit of a socially conscious edge. I love this album. I'm glad I picked it up. Fred Wesley and the JBs, Damn Right I'm Somebody. Next one. This one came from a really great record store haul that I had. And I can't believe I even found it. This is Bauhaus in the Flatfield. First pressing on 4AD. It's got a nasty split up top. But this was like $10. Original inner and everything. Disc is in great shape. It sounds fantastic on that 4AD label. I just would never think to find something like this here in the US. And this is a really, really good album. So yeah, Bauhaus in the Flatfield. Next up is one of my favorite albums of all time. Not a first pressing, but a UK 74 pressing on Reprise. This is Nico's Desert Shore. This is another one that the price was right. It was very cheap. I don't remember how much it was, but I paid less than $20 for this. And now I see this going for $40 and $50 on Discogs, and none of them are in the US, so there it is. I'm sure everyone knows this album by now, but it is wonderful. It's always been one of my favorites, and I'm really happy that I didn't have to get one of those Four Men with Beards pressings. I think that's who re-released a bunch of the Nico stuff. I'm not sure though. Stay away from Four Men with Beards if you don't know that by now. Their pressings are horrible. Next up, this is another one from that record store haul. This is probably the coolest one. I'm a huge Thelonious Monk fan, And so I'm always happy to find some original Thelonious Monk stuff on Riverside. This is the unique Thelonious Monk. And this is the mono misprint. This is the one where I believe the sleeve says it's in stereo or something. It's a misprint. But apparently this is pretty rare, and it's got T for Two on it, you know. I don't have an original copy of Crisscross, but T for Two is one of my favorite Monk songs ever. And this, again, very cheap, $15, I think. But yeah, Thelonious Monk, the unique Thelonious Monk. Let's see here. Everything wants to be difficult. Let's see. Up next, probably, if you put a gun to my head, I would probably say this is my favorite album of all time. Or something. It's close. It's up there. I think I've been saying this for a long time. Richard and Linda Thompson, I Want to See the Bright Lights Tonight. The reason why this is landing so high up is I've just been looking for any pressing of this at all. This is a Canadian pressing on Carthage. This is not the original on Island. If you can see, there it is on that Carthage label. It's a little bit snug. That's okay. With this beautiful insert. Lyrics. Yeah, I mean, this is just the most beautiful folk rock, British folk rock, whatever you want to call it. Amazing songwriting, amazing lyrics, ramshackle production. You can tell this was recorded on the smallest budget possible, it shows, but it's even better because of it. Great album. Want to See the Bright Lights Tonight. Then up next, this is a newer record. I was over the moon to find this until I realized they repressed it. But still, this is an original. Paid $7 for this. Wolves in the Throne Room, Two Hunters. Fantastic American black metal. I don't remember when this, I think this came out in 2007. But yeah, this has kind of been like the standard for American black metal for a while, I feel like. And this is the first pressing. I think the first vinyl pressing came out like a year after the album did or something. But yeah, Wolves in the Throne Room, Two Hunters, atmospheric black metal. Again, it kind of got the whole American black metal ball rolling, or at least contributed to it. But yeah, I'm so happy to have found this at the price that I did find it at. So yeah, Wolves in the Throne Room, Two Hunters. Next up, I believe we got, 3 left in the top 3. This is the last record I got from the big haul from my local record store. $5. I had to do a quadruple take. Sat there in the record store for probably 20 minutes just scrolling through Discogs on my phone trying to make sure this was what it looked like. If it wasn't, I still would have bought it. But yeah, this is an original mono pressing of Money Jungle. Yep, look at him. There's Duke. There's Chuck. Just hanging out. Sleeve is in okay shape. Record is in pretty good shape. But the kicker, I don't know if I mentioned this. This was $5. It looks awesome. It sounds a little snap, crackle, and poppy, but for $5, this, I mean, it blew my mind. And the woman at the front even kind of said something about it. She said, "That's a nice price, isn't it?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am. It's a very nice price. Thank you." So yeah. And usually they price everything really high. So I felt good robbing them a little bit. Yeah. Duke Ellington, Charles Mingus, Max Roach, Money Jungle. Classic. Classic. And before I get to the number one, this is the number two. Funkadelic, Maggot Brain. If you saw my post either in Vinyl Posting or on the YouTube Vinyl Community Facebook page, there's a story that goes along with this record. So yeah, of course, this is Maggot Brain. This is not a first pressing, but this is a 1975 pressing on Westbound on that blue label. The story behind this is, I'm standing at my local, not quite a record store, but they sell records, they sell books and other stuff like that. And there's a man standing in line. And for lack of a better description, he was dressed very, I don't know, he had on like a fedora, and he was wearing a suit. It looked like he had just gotten out of a church service. He was just a very old black gentleman with a big cart full of records. Most of it tat, not, like Lionel Richie and stuff like that. But right in the very front was this record. So I get to talking to him, and I'm like, oh, you got that record? And we were talking about it, and we were talking about Funkadelic, and he let me know that these were not his records. They were given to him by his neighbor. We'll come back to that. So we're talking, and this old man introduces himself, says his name is Earl P. Howes. And he was known as the Earl of Bud, a beer vendor who used to be at some kind of sporting event in New York in the 90s. And so that's how everyone knew him, as the Earl of Bud, because he was some beer vendor. And apparently, his next door neighbor was Rick James. And when Rick moved, he gave Earl Howes all of his records, I guess. And one of them was this copy of Maggot Brain. And he said he had more. He said he just had crates and crates of these records that Rick James had given to him. And I don't have a way to prove it, but it's a wonderful story to say that I've got Rick James' copy of Maggot Brain. Because I probably do. And it's in amazing condition. This is like $1. Maggot Brain. And then finally, again, if you've seen my posts, this probably is extremely expected that this is my number one find of the year. There's not really a story to it. It's kind of anticlimactic, but I got a copy of Lucinda Williams' Happy Woman Blues, original first pressing on Folkways, in great condition. There's not really much to say of it. It was kind of like when I got my Velvet Underground and Nico. Yeah, it's in fantastic shape. It's got this pretty insert with lyrics on it and a newspaper clipping. I can't believe that I have it, but I do. This was expensive. This is not like the others where it was $1 and $2. This was the pony up of the year. If I'll use a Matt Sands-ism. But yeah, Lucinda Williams, Happy Woman Blues. And that is all for, I guess, the top 10 things that I found in 2019. I haven't ever done anything like this, and I'm hoping that I'm going to post more videos soon, because I have found some cool stuff as 2019 has started. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you haven't heard any of these, go check them out.